And we'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please call the roll.
Trustee David.
Here.
Trustee Gifford. Trustee Tedford.
Here.
Trustee Rizzo.
Here. Here.
I was looking to see if your mics were.
Mine is. Okay, so item number 3 is a review of the financial statement of the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2017. So as I think we all know now, every year we do an internal audit of both village finances and the court, which is by law separate from village finances. Steve's
Whether
got,
we like it or not.
and keeps us clean, and so Steve has his report done. You have the hard copy in front of you. I think you were sent electronic copies. And Steve, if you want to just briefly go over your findings, well.
Okay. What I'll try and do is hit some of the highlights. The first page that has all of the independent auditors report. I just want to hit a couple of things. The second paragraph talks about management's responsibility for the financial statements. The financial statements themselves, the numbers and the notes, are the responsibility of the village board and the village management. The auditor is not responsible for coming up with the numbers and the notes. In theory, what happens is we come in, we take the annual update document that's submitted to the New York State Controller, and we test those numbers. Then our responsibility is to test the numbers, test the disclosures, and express an opinion on that. Then really what it comes down to is the type of opinion. It comes down to you do your financial statements on a regulatory basis, which is pretty much how you submit to New York State, the Office of the State Controller. You got an unmodified opinion on that, or what they call a clean opinion, and that's basically what you're looking for. It says that the numbers in the financial statements are fairly presented. I'm just going to try and hit a couple of the funds. The general fund, if we take a look at the balance sheet, that's where you stood as of May 31st, 17. You can see your fund balance, which is the second number from the bottom, the 1.4 million. For a village, for a financial entity this size, you have a strong fund balance. All right, that's kind of where you want to be. The next one is your statement of revenue and expenses. That's for the general fund. If we take a look at the actual column, we look at your total revenues of 6.8 million, or 6.833, and your total expenses of 6.862. You kind of broke even for the year. That's kind of what your goal is in the general fund. And that gets back to, the good budgeting and things of that nature. You're not raising taxes too much, and you're not cutting yourself short. Water and sewer funds are the next pages. What that deals with is the fund balances there in both those funds are strong, and obviously you want to try and have an adequate fund balance just to prevent or prepare for water breaks, sewer breaks. I think over the past couple of years you've had a significant, I think Maria said there was a sewer break over the past year. So at least with your fund balance, you're not going to have to go out and borrow and bond for that all the time. That's all the other ones are the Community Development Fund. That's where the Section 8 money, you guys have some loans, some community development loans outstanding that you've lent to village businesses. They're paying those back. And also there was an affordable housing grant that's in that one. The other one that's probably has some significance in it is the schedule of non-current government liabilities. That spells out your debt, which is your bonds payable, what you owe the retirement system, post-employment benefits. There's a calculation, it's an actuarial calculation that figures out best estimate of what the village's liability would be for paying health insurance for the village employees for the next 30 years. That's all I have on the numbers. I'm going to try and hit some of the things on the financial statements, the notes, I'm sorry. We go to page 5, at the very bottom. Talks about the village's bank deposits. One of the things as a governing board you want to know is that the bank money we have in the bank, is that secured? And if we take a look, 250 was FDIC covered, and the balance, First National Bank of Scotia has a third-party collateral agreement that protects your funds on deposit. So all your funds as of May 31st are secure, either insured or secured. First National Bank of Scotia goes through that calculation daily to make sure that you have enough money pledged, enough collateral pledged. Page 7, indebtedness. It spells out what the village's indebtedness is. You had 4 issues of bonds outstanding. At the end of May, it was 2.7. At the very bottom of the page, it just spells out your maturities for principal and interest over the terms of the borrowings. Next thing I want to highlight, if we go to page, footnote number 7 on page, I believe it starts on page 8. There's just a ton of stuff in there about the pension. It goes on for six pages. It's a required disclosure, lists out all the different tiers, the descriptions, what the village's commitments are, what the liability is. It's like a 7 page footnote. Once again, required. If we look at the after page 15 of the notes, I believe it is, 17 of the notes, there's another schedule of expenditures of federal awards. That lists out all the federal funds that the village receives, either direct federal funds, pass through New York State, or pass through the county. That's one of the reasons why we have to do the, what they call the single audit, where we do additional testing. We have to do additional testing of the federal laws and some state laws, and express a report on that. If you look the next couple pages, there's 2 reports. They both start off with independent auditor's report. They look very similar. What it comes down to is testing of laws and compliance and internal controls at government standard level and the federal level. And really what you're looking for is were there any deficiencies that we had to report? The answer to that is no. And then the last page of the report deals with the schedule of finding and question costs. You can see, pretty much see the column is all checked no, except the column that says you're a low-risk auditee, because over the past several years, you've had audits where you've had no findings, and your reports are unmodified. That's all I have on the financial statements. I believe there's another letter that you might have received in electronic format. It's just the audit firm's communication to the governing board saying, did we have any problems during the audit? Like, for example, we got in there and we found that the records were a mess or things were far behind. Did we have any disagreements with either the governing board or the fiscal office, you know, that we couldn't resolve? That has to be communicated to the board. Anytime we have adjustments that we come up with, we can't force the village or the client to make those. However, we have to report that to the governing board if the village didn't make those. We really, it's kind of a clean letter, clean, boring audit, which is kind of what you're looking for. Historically, that's been the way it is. Maria does a great job. As a governing board, you want to kind of know that. For example, when you're getting numbers throughout the year, you don't want to find out that, you know, you're expecting a surplus, and then the audit comes in and you find out you had a huge deficit, or vice versa. When we come in, the numbers, we go through everything, very little adjustments. All the records, when we've ever looked for things, never had a problem. So I figured I'd pass it on to the board. Questions? I know I went through it fast. Maybe not fast enough, but.
You're good. Any questions for Steve?
And I believe, obviously, I think on the letterhead, my office number is there. I know Maria has my cell phone. Feel free if, you know, you have questions. You can call me anytime during the year.
Anything else for Steve before we let him go? All right,
Okay.
the only thing I want to say is I want to just thank and congratulate Maria, Teresa, and the rest of the clerks because
Yeah,
you know, year after year, we come through with a clean audit and you know, I just read in the paper this morning that Stillwater
Yeah.
is in big trouble, so
Yeah,
you know, it's just nice to know that we can rest easy and have things taken care of by the people that we come.
Yeah, the headline was worth both pasting up, but it wasn't us. Reject.
All right, thanks very much.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Have a good holiday, everyone.
Thank
Thank you. All right, item number 4, as we move on, is authorize me to sign the amendment to service agreement with Value Payment Systems. Remember we talked about this at our work session, so that we can now accept American Express as a payment method along with Visa, MasterCard, and the other cards that we have. For people that want to pay their water and sewer bills or taxes with a credit card. Anybody care to authorize me to sign that? Make a motion. I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolutions 5 and 6 have to do with the Glen Esk Apartments. So just as a background, the Glen Esk Apartments are in the town of Weatherville, but their water and sewer will come from and through the village of Scotia. Our contract with the city of Schenectady requires us to get approval from the city of Schenectady before we can extend any sewer district except more effluent. So first the request comes to the village of Scotia, then for the sewer it goes to the city of Schenectady. When it's all approved, then the project can continue and they can hook into our sewer. So item number 5 is a resolution to approve the request from the town of Glenville for 3-lot extension of sewer district 2 for the Glen Esk Apartments.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Any discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then item number 6 is a resolution to approve the request of Glenville for, the water district for the same project.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 7 are my comments to the board, and we're kind of light tonight, so you guys will be happy with me, I think. You'll be happy with
We
me.
blocked out 2 hours for this meeting tonight.
I think that we got everybody on the board has said they're coming, but I just want to remind everybody that we have our village holiday party this Friday the 15th from 4 to 6 over at Hometown Pub and Grub. The bar bill will be not taken care of, but the drinks will be are served by the establishment, and then the catering is going to be done by Dairy Circus. So both the food and beverages should be good. Also, I want you to get your encyclopedia out and study up on the Village of Scotia. There'll be a team event of trivia quiz with a grand prize selected for the team that knows most about the trivia put together on the Village of Scotia. The quiz was made up by questions submitted by each of the department heads. So
What are the teams? Are we one team?
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do the
Oh,
teams
okay.
as we go in. I'm trying to figure that out. I think all of us were able to attend the fire department's holiday party, had a good time with that, had a lot of hobnobbing, so that was nice. Appreciate the invitation, Ken's on a call right now. And then I want to extend an invitation to this board, including Lydia, to the holiday party I have every year. It's the Saturday the 23rd, starts at 7 o'clock at my house. This year's theme is lights. On videotape, but the theme is where light can get lit with us. So, and once again, catering will be by both Dairy Circus and Cheap Bistro. So hope to see you there.
What time?
7 o'clock is when we kick off. I want to remind everyone that Monday the 18th, we'll be here at 6 o'clock and we'll get a tour of the police department and a listing of Pete's needs for our information. I'm sure you all recall that we're looking at converting our lights, buying our lights, our street lights and converting them over to LED. We sent out RFPs for the project. We got replies from SmartWatt and Johnson Control. There was the question about the NIMO program and buying our lights directly from them. They're going through a change right now with their rates, so they're not going to have solid numbers for quite a while. But we have people looking in to see if we can get some indication. The issue still with them is that you have to come up with your cost up front, whereas these other two, the cost is just maybe part of your bill. So I just want to say that we made the wise decision, so we'll wait till we get a determination, but we're close.
Chris, that should be in April, that they come out with their new
Yeah.
program.
So we requested, they said, well, April's when we get our new rates, so you can only request, once a year
Yeah,
for a price? So if we requested now, we'd get a price, but the price would be different in April, so.
and it should be, they suggested we wait because they think it's gonna be lower.
And then my final comment is, we have got good news today. You know that we applied for a couple of loans from the state. We did not receive, I think you go. There it is. We did not receive the grant for the repair to the Burr Bridge. We did not receive the grant for the business district work. But we did receive the grant for the INI for our sewer system to the tune of $30,000. So it cost us $800 to apply for the grant. Our cost share is $7,500, so the project itself will be $37,500. So it's a great investment to get that money for an INI study. And those are my comments. Item number 8, correspondence liaison and special committee reports, trustee Mathis.
Had a great meeting actually last night. We had to reschedule our visionary committee meeting. A lot of good talks about from that committee in regards to some great ideas around ways that we can work with the town better. And from that, there's been some subcommittees around a lot of the topics we've been having in our work session about facilities and training facilities and a lot of other stuff that I know that some of the department heads are aware of. So some good money out there to be had for that, and some great opportunity that I can kind of, and we're going to follow through with and take a look at.
Thanks.
Yep.
Trustee Giblin.
We had a fire department meeting. It was short and sweet because we had dinner afterward by Dairy Circus, and so good to have them back. We had a planning board meeting of which I missed half because we had our meeting that ran over. But they talked about other farms. It made some progress.
Thank you. Trustee Tiberio.
We didn't have any bid meetings and we didn't have a zone board meeting.
Trustee Rizzo.
Okay, we had our holiday on the Avenue last Sunday. It was very well attended this year. I'd also like to thank the department heads for participating in the parade. A lot of people noticed it out there, and they appreciate you guys being involved, so we want to say thank you for that. Our chili cook-off, our best chili of the village, went to JT Cafe for the best chili in the village, and they're very happy because they had a little rivalry with the tap room, so it was good to see that. It was very well attended. Everybody had a lot of new activities this year. We got Trustco Bank open up this year. We had the artists in there, and a lot of the activities went very well. We had more activities than we usually did, and it was very well accepted.
I heard good things about the parade too.
Yeah, it was
An
nice.
amazing display of DPW power.
Yeah, we did. And a good thing for the Parks Department. It was great. And we had our first participation in the bid. The floor shop put in a van, and they also donated some wreaths for door prize. So it was nice to see a new business get involved right away with the village. So it's really nice to see that. So I hope next year we have a lot more. We're talking about adding a couple more groups that are actually in the village that want to participate in the parade. We want to keep it small because it's a village parade and it's just the village. So we'll have to look at that when the time comes.
Good, thanks. Item number 9 is the departmental reports. Any questions or comments on the departmental reports? Anyone want to move to accept them?
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in
With
favor, say
thanks.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item 10 is the audit of claims.
I'd like to make a motion, pay the bills.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on that one? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Mathis?
Yes.
Trustee Gibbons?
Yes.
Trustee Tiberio?
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo?
Yes.
Mayor Pat?
Yes. Item 11 is the approval of the minutes of the November 8th regular meeting of the trustees.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 12 is the approval of the minutes of the special meeting on November 20th.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 13 is the approval of the minutes of the organizational meeting that was held on December 4th.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 14, new business. Does anyone have any new business for the good of the order?
I've got 2 items I'd like to bring up. First of all, I'd like to know if this board would like to give 2 resolutions out. I'd like to get 1 resolution to the Cub Scout Pack 2 that's in the Village of Scotia. Every holiday season, they take it upon themselves and all the expenses to light up the Wallace Street Triangle. They've been doing that for years, and they're lighting it up so everybody can see that they're doing an excellent job, and I think it's time to recognize them as a civic group that takes care of that island. They actually, there's a plaque out there for that. That tree was planted by Cub Scout Pack to, I don't know how many years ago. I don't remember how many years ago that was, Tom? That tree, that's gotta be in the 30s.
Yeah.
And they take it upon themselves at their own expense to put the decoration and make it nice for everybody to go past. Second resolution I would like to see if we could do next month is also thank the First National Bank of Scotia. For years, I've been involved with the Special Events Committee, and Lou Burmaster's always been there, opening his bank for us, as he does in Holiday on the Avenue. He lets us use his meeting room, his equipment, his people, and I think it's a good time you can recognize those two groups for being a real good part of the village. I mean, they give, especially Lou Burmaster, he gives a lot out. And, you know, you don't have to ask him, just say, well, we're looking for donations, and he's right there.
So,
I would like to
would you like the
recognize.
recognition for Lou or for the First National Bank of Scotia?
Well, I think First National Bank of Scotia would be more, because he's the one that says yes or no, and he, you know, he's always been there. We store things in his garage, you know, we use his meeting room, his copy machine, we even use his drive-through, as you know, for the car show, for registration area. And he's always been there for us. And for 21 years I've been involved with it, he's been there, and he hasn't said no to nothing. And again, like I said,
Kind
the
of
Cub
people get
Scouts.
cleaner if we did it to Lou.
Yeah, I would say him, because he's always, man, you don't know it or not, but he's always down there looking around.
Oh, yeah, I know, Lou will tell you.
Yeah. And the Cub Scouts too, since I was a Cub master at Cub Scout, it's one of their, we used to have a lot more activity on that, but the school cut back on their choir. We used to have a choir and a tree lighting every year. And they take it upon themselves, they do fundraisers, and they buy all the lights, and they put all the decorations so everybody can enjoy that one corner. They've been doing it for years and years and years, so I think it's time we recognize them for doing a great job for us.
You want to do those for our February meeting?
Sure,
I
absolutely.
think especially with the Cub Scouts, it would be good, because that is also the meeting that is our birthday, so
Yeah, that'd be great if we could do that, because it's well deserved.
we'll do that.
And that's all I have for new business.
So, you had brought this up before. Can you give me a name and a good phone number for who I contact for the Cub Scouts?
I will get you that number. I don't have it here, but I will get you that number and give you a call.
Okay.
Or email. As a matter of fact, it's Cliff Simmerid's,
That doesn't help me, I need a name.
no, I'll get you the number. Yeah, I'll get you the name and number. I'll follow through on that and get you the information on that.
Okay. Any other new business?
I don't know if it is, Chris, but Joe reminded me of the florist shop. I stopped by there to welcome them
I did tell him, yeah.
to the village
I
at
did
one
too.
point, and it's a very difficult place to do business because the traffic is so fast right there. But it's legal to park in front of the shop, the florist shop there. There's a no parking sign at the corner of Ballston and Mohawk. But in our code, it's, the no parking area is 60 feet from there, and then you're allowed to park from, not between 7 and 8 in the morning or something like that, and not at night, of course. I'm wondering if we could talk about putting parking lines there so that it makes it a little more obvious that somebody could do that if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be to give that to the Traffic Safety Committee and have Tom Melander, you know.
Well, but it's not, it's already there, it's already in the code. So we're only talking about putting paint.
Yeah.
We're not changing anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why would it need to go to the traffic safety?
I would just like to hear from Tom Melander whether it's wise to promote parking right there. It seems dangerous to me.
Yeah, because they got a small lot on the side they can use, so.
What's that?
They have that small lot on the side. Between
Yeah,
the
but
building and the old.
still, you know, it's there. And our stated intent is to slow traffic down anyway, so it would be, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you could be fully right. I mean, I'm not a traffic expert, but I'm smart enough to know what I don't know.
Yeah, bringing that up again, Chris, there's a question about lighting in that area too. They're wondering if there's possibility you can get one of the light posts somewhere in that area between Furnace and their store, because at night, when they're open, it's very dark, and it'd be nice to have a lamp post. I don't know how
I
about
have to talk to
they.
the guy that owns the building, because
Yeah.
those lights are powered by the people that own the building.
Right,
so they-
right.
The guy would have to buy the light and power it, but back to your topic here, so. Do you have an issue with the traffic safety committee looking at it?
I guess not, but I don't know what the point is, why would.
Well, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I know we're dealing with a state highway, and we're dealing with a busy block, so I don't think you can just go on, I mean, Andrew, I don't know if you know anything about it or not, am I wrong?
Yeah, I have to get a work permit from DOT to do that work.
And would they have to approve the work, or?
Yeah. It would, in the permit would say what we wish to do, and then they would review it. So I guess I would recommend the traffic safety committee looking at it, because then as a group, we would reach out to DOT to see, before we went through the permit process, to see if it's feasible to do.
Even street signs would be nice. That says like 1 hour parking or something like that, except.
What's that?
Like a street sign that says like, 2 hour parking except 7, 8 AM, 4 to 5 PM or something.
Yeah,
As opposed to like the lines might really mess people up, especially in the morning.
We've had good luck in the traffic safety committee, I think Ken would agree, where we discuss these things with not only Tom Lander, who's our traffic engineer, and a retired DOT traffic engineer, but then we bring in DOT as well. We've made some good contacts with DOT, depending on whether we're dealing with like a property issue, a right-of-way issue, or in this case, a signage or a parking issue. Like the person, Chris, we talked to, before
What would-
25 Mohawk was built,
Andrew,
about
what Tom's suggesting, would that take a DOT permit or not? If you're,
I'd have to ask Tom Lander. I mean, we
Okay.
have certain jurisdiction over the road because it's in the village. Village laws and town laws are different. Like the town couldn't do it, say on Route 50, because they're a town. A village is a little bit different, but it's still a state highway. So it has to go through DOT.
I think it would really help their business if we could post what's already in the statute, so.
Anytime, when we did that sign for the library, and some other signage, it had to go through DOT because it's in their right of way. And honestly, that doesn't mean it's a no. They've actually, I think for the most part, they changed the light at Cuthbert Street, they allowed this sign at the library, they've been good to work with. It's just like with everything, there's a process to go through.
Yeah, I don't wanna make it like we're asking permission, cause we already have it,
I
we're making
understand.
clear what's already there.
I understand.
And I know what you're saying, because I used to take my
Yeah.
dog to the groomer place, and I parked in that little lot on the side, and with my truck, I couldn't even turn around that lot, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh.
But, so I don't think it's a bad idea, I just want to make sure that we don't step on toes. Okay. Anything else? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Thank you.